All right, let's slam this other one here. Oh no, no, such bad luck. Dr. D is back with another video after a long hiatus. So welcome back. Today I'm going to be covering the build that I will be starting for the ladder reset for Season 6. And that is none other than the Whirlwind Barbarian. Now, just a quick disclaimer, I don't have the access to the beta, but from the patch notes, it doesn't look like there have been any changes to the Whirlwind Barbarian. So here's the build. And I actually got inspired by a recent video by another YouTuber named Futureal. I'm going to post a link in the description. He basically made about an hour-long video going over all the best starter builds for Season 6. So this is where I got that inspiration. So here's my Whirlwind Barb. I actually don't even have him to level 80. He's only level 68. And today we're just going to go over, the skills and the gear, some different gear options. And as you can see, I don't even have a weapon equipped right now, and that's because I have yet to decide on which weapon I'm actually going to use. So right here I have a bunch of ethereal weapons that I will be throwing into the cube and using this recipe, perfect ruby, ort rune, and a jewel. And this is going to make the blood recipe craft, and that can actually roll a huge amount of enhanced damage. Now you might be wondering, well, how are you gonna make these non-ethereal when it's just the beginning of the ladder? How are you gonna get his Audrin? Well, the good news about the new Season 6 is durability is gonna go down at half the rate as before. So these ethereal weapons will actually last a very long time. Maybe even like a few maps, or a few or several chaos runs, several Bale runs, etc. So you can actually use them if they're not amazing and you don't really care about losing the durability on them. So we're going to craft some of those, and for some other options, I have a Bone Hue with 4 Eth runes for basically minus 100% target defense. Now this is an item that is very cheap even at the beginning of ladder, or if you can find maybe like a random rare polearm with decent amount of damage, that can be a decent option. Now here's an interesting option, guys. Sazabi's set, actually, I don't have the full set, but if you have the helm, the armor, and the weapon, it's actually it will melt through demons. So anything like chaos, trav, the sword rolls with 318 damage to demons, that is fixed. The armor has an additional 100 to 150 damage to demons. The set, let me actually pull it up real quick. So this set has 40% faster run walk, 15% life stolen per hit, increased maximum life by 27%, 30 to all res and 2 to all skills for those 3. It's only a 3-piece set, so you still have your shield, your gloves, your boots, your belt are still available. And we'll go over some options for those. But this cheap set is incredible for any part of the game with demons. And if you're, another thing is, if you're running that set, you can throw on a spirit shield or any of the other shield options. I won't go into those. You could also throw that set on an Act 5 Merc, and that's just going to give him incredible survivability and damage. The only downside is if you're a Whirlwind Barb and you're running Trav, this does add cold damage, so you're not going to be able to hork all the bodies. Whereas a weapon like this doesn't have any cold damage. You'll also notice that in my charms, I don't have anything with cold damage. I just have an assorted, res, attack rating, damage. I do have one combat skiller. I do have actually a couple of pretty decent max damage and attack rating charms. Nothing crazy, guys. And I will actually be making a video in the near future with this whole set to test it out, see how it works with Whirlwind. And before I go ahead and do the recipe with these ethereal weapons to see which weapon I'm actually going to use, I'm just going to go over some of the other gear and some of the other options. Here I have a vampiric crafted helm, and that does require a lum rune. There are definitely cheaper options if you don't have a lum. But this always rolls with Mana Leech, and it always rolls with Deadly Strike, which is amazing because you do need Mana Leech somewhere on a Whirlwind Barb. Another option is Tal's Helm. That's very cheap. You could also do a different type of craft. You could wear an Undead Crown for the damage to undead, life leech, poison resist is really nice. The half freeze duration is very nice. When you're done whirlwinding, you're basically already unfrozen. For the gloves, I'm wearing Blood Fist for the faster hit recovery and life. There's plenty of options here. You could wear the Death's Hand, and if you wear the Death's Belt, the belt actually has Cannot Be Frozen on it, and that two-piece gives you an additional 8% life leech as well, so that's actually quite nice. For the boots, I have Alders with a lightning res slam. The fire res is really nice, especially if you're running Trav. Some other options would be Gorefoot, which does have mana leech, and you do get the open wounds, which is nice. For the armor, really simple option here: Hell Lumfell, Lionheart, Strength, Dexterity, Vitality, Enhanced Damage, Life, All Res, really a no-brainer. Some other options is, if you can find it, Ick Armor, pair it with any other Ick piece, you get dual Leech, you get Life and Mana Leech. And that set is generally one of the strongest sets for, I think the strongest set for a Whirlwind Barb anyway. Another really budget option is Griswold's Armor with 3 sockets. Throw in maybe a Ral, a Thull. You basically get 30 to almost all res for free, and you get high defense and some strength with that as well. Oh, and another option for weapons I forgot to mention is, of course, none other than the Obedience rune word. Hel, Kothal, Eth, Val. You know, pretty cheap runes. You make it in a 5-socket polearm. It has a 30% chance to cast a level 21 enchant, which is amazing. Has faster hit recovery, has all res, has crushing blow. The only thing I don't like about Obedience is the added cold damage. I'm going to be running Trav, so that's going to mean I can't hork all the bodies. So that's just something to keep in mind. And for the jewelry, I have this amulet here. You could also craft an amulet. These aren't the skills I'm looking for, but this one has strength, dex, some life, and 15 all res, which is nice. For the rings, just a little bit of attack rating, a little bit of res. This one's pretty nice. 7% life leech, attack rating, strength, dex. Really the main thing we're looking for here is leech and res. And lastly, the belt. I just have a belt with a ton of strength and some lightning res. And I actually had 2 belts that were very similar, and I slammed both of them. One of them bricked, and this other one gave me 10 extra dex. So slam your stuff, guys. Don't try to hoard those world stone shards. They're very common. Slam your stuff. If you have like more than one decent weapon or armor, you're not going to use more than one of them. So slam all your stuff and see if you can roll some GG slams. So without further ado, let's go ahead and craft these ethereal weapons and see if we can find something, and then I'll jump into Trav and maybe a couple other places and do some runs and see how this build performs. Alright, so this first weapon, let's see what we get. Wow, okay. 3 open sockets, life leech, 2 to masteries, life. This is actually pretty decent, guys. The enhanced damage isn't great, but we can maybe throw some Eth runes in there, maybe some Dole runes, maybe some like max damage jewels, maybe like a 13, 14 max damage jewel. So we're going to set this one aside and move on to the next ones. Alright, so this one, there's some decent stuff here, but the enhanced damage isn't as strong as this one, and this one didn't get any sockets. So I think we're gonna pass on that one. This one is not in an elite base, which can be a problem because that will require, I think, well, let's see, what runes will it require to upgrade? That will require a Fal and an rune to upgrade. And this one rolled low enhanced damage anyway, so we're going to get rid of that one. But you'll notice that if you get a really high enhanced damage, even if it's not an elite base, it can still do some pretty insane damage. And even if you can't use it, if you're not going to upgrade it, it's something you can put aside to upgrade and slam later. So let's go ahead and throw in this scythe. So not great on the enhanced damage. Yeah, we're gonna pass on that one. So this is actually decent. So this one is actually not even in an exceptional base yet. So we can upgrade this with an Ort and an Am rune. I'm actually gonna do that after I finish these last couple ones. Like, it looks like we only have one. Okay, so let's do this Flamberge. So this rolled like no enhanced damage, so really these two are interesting candidates. So let's throw this in with an Ort Am and Perfect Sapphire and see what the damage looks like with that. All right. Oh yeah, that's actually pretty good. And this is a slow attack base, but with Whirlwind we don't care because Whirlwind is always the same attack speed. So I'm actually quite torn between this one and this one. This one has higher max damage. It also has 3 sockets. However, this one is an insane amount of strength. I guess with a Barb we don't really care, right? Because more strength equals more damage. And they both have Life Leech. So what I actually might do is I might slam both of them and see if I can get like an enhanced damage, maybe some other really good slam. Maybe this one will get sockets. So let's actually do that. So let's slam this one. So faster cast rate. Yes! Woo! Alright, let's slam this other one here. Oh no! No! Such bad luck. Alright, well, at least we now know what our option is here. Now, of course, this Bone Hew is going to be far superior, but what if we don't have a Bone Hew, right? It's the beginning of ladder, and this is all we have, and this is basically free. You find any ethereal weapon, you slam a few, you recipe a few of them, and you slam them, and maybe this is the best you have. So we're gonna actually go ahead and test this. And since we have an axe, we're gonna go with the general mastery, so we're gonna max that. All right, real quick for stats, I have enough vitality to reach about 1500 health before battle orders, and the rest basically goes into strength. If you want, you can maybe put a little bit into dex to up your attack rating, but with better future gear options, I think you'll be okay not putting anything into dex. And obviously nothing into energy. As we keep leveling, as you can see, we're only level 68. We can dump basically all future points into some combination of strength and vitality, but mostly strength for the damage. If you're a hardcore build, you might want to prioritize vitality. And as you can see, with 2 points into my, actually I think 3 points, 3 points into natural resistance, my res are okay, and maybe I'll put in 1 more point. At some point I will obviously respec. So for these other skills in the combat masteries tree, we have these 1 point wonders, max general mastery, because I decided with going with that axe weapon to test that one out. We'll also be able to wear maces. For war cries, we basically went down this tree, 1 point to battle orders, max battle command. 1 point find item. We will be putting more points into this as we go along. As we keep leveling, we'll place at least several more points into find item. And obviously in the combat skills tree, we just go down and max Whirlwind. So let's jump into a Trav run and see how this guy does. And just FYI, this Mark will probably die in Trav. His gear is just hilarious, guys. I mean, we have a crafted weapon with 6% life leech, some deadly strike, attack rating. I mean, it's okay. It's not going to do much damage, but hopefully this will keep him alive. For the battle orders, not the battle orders, the might aura that he's giving us. His helm is just an undead crown for the life leech, basically, and the half freeze duration, poison res. The armor is pretty hilarious. We needed to cap his lightning and cold res, so we did that with runes, and also threw in a shale for faster hit recovery because he doesn't have any. He has a Death's Hand for poison length reduction, decent little belt with some dual res and life and strength, some res on the boots, really just whatever we could find. Let's see how well he survives. If he doesn't survive Trav, we'll run through the pits and see if he survives there. Alright, time for some Trav. So what I actually did, I just hopped into Trav and I kind of pulled the council members all the way back so that I'm not in the midst of all the other stuff. So as you can see, I really suck at whirlwinding, but you know, this gets the job done. Yeah, so not too bad. See if we can get this guy. He's cold enchanted. Wow, he's a tough guy. He's a tough motherfucker. Oh, out of mana. We do have mana leech, but as you can see, the lack of damage makes it difficult to kill them before we run out of mana. But it gets the job done. And now we're amped. Alright, let's lead them back over here. So as you can see, it's pretty rough. I mean, we didn't get very lucky in our roll, so to speak. This guy's almost out. We took that guy out, alright. Took that guy out. Took that guy out. Now we just have these homies. All right. That guy's out. That guy's out. I'm not even attempting to keep my merc alive. Anyone else? I think that's all the council members. So not too bad, considering we have a pretty shitty weapon. And just so you know, in the last few minutes, I did pause the video and I leveled up to 71. I did like some content in Act 1. I did some catacombs. I ran it a couple times. And I still have 69 out of 100 durability. I started with 90. It's going to go down half as much or as quickly in the next season. So let's say I lost about 10 durability doing about half an hour of content, which isn't bad at all. So use your ethereal weapons. By the time your durability runs out, you will likely have found something a lot better. So let's go into the pits real quick and see how we do over there. And actually, before we do that, let's run Trav one more time. But this time, let's go ahead and put on something a little bit better for our weapon. And we'll see how we do. Alright, so here's my Bone Hue with 4 Etherunes in it. So that should help us out tremendously. I also got a decent slam on there. In general, this item is very cheap even at the start of ladder, so throw some Eth-runes in there. You don't need any fancy slams. And let's see how it does. Alright. Let's lure them over here a bit. And as you can see, we are leeching a little bit more mana now that we have a higher damage weapon. Really unlucky with the enchants in this map as well. Alright, we got... I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm not even going to try. Alright, let's hork these bodies real quick. Alright. So this is definitely much better, and it's actually quite easy to get an even better weapon when crafting using the blood craft. I really do need to work on my whirlwinding. I suppose I'm not doing terribly. And it looks like we got them all. Alright, so once again, really cheap build, very doable trav runs. Really nothing special on here. Most of this stuff is, you know, pretty much throwaway gear or crafted by myself. So let's jump into a pit run real quick. Oh wow, I just realized something. We were using this weapon a minute ago, and we're having a little bit of trouble with that. And this one was better, but we're still spec'd into General Mastery, and this Ogre Axe, although it's called an axe, it's actually a polearm class. So had we spec'd into Polearm Mastery, we would have had an even easier time, and you saw how doable that just was. So that's something to keep in mind. So we're going to try to find a really nice mace or axe to replace this with as we go along. And this one right here is another budget option for a two-handed axe. And as you can see, this one will melt the trav because this has over 150% damage to demons. It also has fire absorb, so you can imagine that this being one of the best budget options for trav. I'm not level 74 yet, but as soon as I am, I will definitely make a video on that. And by the way, for the pits, I am going to wear this crafted axe because this is not even up to the elite version. And if we can do really well with this crafted low enhanced damage axe, then, you know, we're going to just be flying through the game. So let's go ahead and try that out. Now, we absolutely melt through these shamans and devilkins. Alright. Oh my god. Oh, oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is absolutely where you want to be hanging out when you're just getting started. This is great. This is really good damage. Let's see how we do with the skeletons. Oh my god, we melt through them. We're basically one-hitting everything. Two-hitting the elite pack there. Pretty sure that skeleton had stone skin. And the survivability is actually quite good. Oh yeah. I'm liking this a lot, actually. We can find a lot of loot this way. And not having cannot be frozen does hurt quite a bit. So I think I will consider finding something like maybe a death sash, or maybe boots that have cannot be frozen. But this is great. Actually, this is a great place to farm if you're not quite strong enough for Travinkle. And as you can see, we did just fine with Travinkle. It took us an extra minute. This is quite good. And what we can actually do is ignore the trash mobs as well. That's another way to go about it, is to not really worry about stragglers and just focus on the bigger packs. Superior Shadow Plate. That's actually a really good base for barbarians because they don't mind the higher strength requirement. That's actually low defense for that armor. Wow. I'm almost thinking, like, did I accidentally make a nightmare game? Because this seems way too easy, guys. And the durability lasts a decent amount. I can easily make another one of these with ethereal weapons I find along the way. Wow. That is really good. That is really good. And that's it. Really, really efficient for the pits. I'm definitely gonna be doing some more blood crafts, assembling some more ethereal weapons, and doing some slamming in future videos. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.